WEF representing Palace, so let's tell you about Palace. Rolling straight to the ceiling, crowns and crystals, top like journeys, dishing out malice. Hold up, South London's grandest, far from bandits. Everything earned for a goal of elevation, just passing the team over here might finish like bright future we can't vanish. SE25 any day, that's sellers. Rev up the engines, no more reverse reactions, fan cams, bands on stream. Share up the team, support the dream team when Eagles fly, make noise and scheme. Dare to dream or dream to dare, taking a step to become supreme.
Yes, hello everyone and welcome to another edition of TACT-EAGLE. But today it's on a Monday because tomorrow we do have Aston Villa and we will talk about them first. But before we do, JC, how are you doing? You must still be reliving Saturday.
I was dreaming about it. I'm lying, but yeah, man, I'm still as Wilfred Zaha would say, I'm buzzing, man, because it was a great away day. You know, wasn't. I think throughout the whole game, apart from the first 10-15 minutes, I wasn't stressed at all. Mm-hmm. It was one of those games where we were really in control, and I think it just proved how genuinely good we are away from home. Mm-hmm. Just was it 5 games in a row, 2-0 wins away from home.
Yeah, and I
think six games away from home without even conceding a goal.
Yeah, and you know the last goal we conceded was the goal that we scored for Brighton against Mark Gay scored. Yeah.
And I don't know if this is true, but I think that we are actually 9 games unbeaten away from home at the moment.
I think that is correct. Let's have a quick look.
Which is unheard of for a team like us.
Yeah, so away games. So yeah, 2-0 Fulham, 2-0 Doncaster, 2-0 United, 2-0 West Ham. So that's 4. 2-0 Leicester.
5.
5. And then 6, Bournemouth 0-0. So it's 6. Because the last time we lost was Arsenal. But if we said just league, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, 9 games unbeaten in the league. So it was Bournemouth 0-0, 3-1 Brighton, 1-0 Ipswich, 2-2 Villa, and then 2-2 Wolves. That's incredible, really, isn't it?
For a team like us, that is like Man City levels of like quality away from home. And I think it really shows how good our defense has been ever since Chalobah's gone.
And I think I'm trying to think because I know that there was a record, like the Premier League record isn't much more than that. I think it's only like another game or something like that, which obviously our next away game is against Southampton. So I'm sure that we absolutely won't.
We're going to lose to Southampton knowing that the record is there. I guarantee it. But still, it's unbelievable levels of form.
Yeah.
I think even the commentator said it to Eze. I think he said it's the league first for one team to win 2-0 away from home 5 times in a row. Like, how mental is that? And it's not even like we've played nobodies as well. Like, yes, Man United are in a bit of a rubbish situation. Mm-hmm. But West Ham, you know, Graham Potter, granted, he just came in, but he literally just beat. I think he beat Brentford on his first game or something, didn't he? It was something like that. But he had a good game in his first game, and then he played us. You got West Ham, you got Leicester, who are fighting for their lives, which is quite a difficult game. But yeah,
got Bournemouth. I know we didn't win that 2-0, but Bournemouth as well. That's a very difficult game.
The 0-0 against Bournemouth look incredible now. Should see what they're doing. And also only losing to Forest 1-0 away from home as well. Mm-hmm. That looks really good as well.
Yeah.
Bearing in mind that they nearly came back against bloody Newcastle yesterday.
Mm-hmm. No, absolutely. I mean, I'm looking at the form table now. And I mean, in terms of away record this season.
We're 4th, I think.
Yeah, we are 4th. Yeah, we are 4th. And then our home form, we're 16th.
And guess what? Balance at 12th. Where we belong.
Yin and yang, truly. I'll go through some comments.
Duality of Crystal Palace.
Yeah, exactly. We'll just go through some comments quick, and then we'll crack on with talking a bit more about Villa. So, tried to watch Ozo, and I noticed Millwall have a backline of giants. They have a very aggressive overlapping fullbacks. Yeah, that is true against Derby, but they're more likely set up in a back three against us. We'll talk a bit more about that later. Big up chairman and big up animal. Thank you all for tuning in as always. So, going on to Aston Villa. Aston Villa, I think. What do you think of their season, JC? I think their season's been very weird.
They've been hot and cold,
Yeah.
but in the way of they've either been very, very good or very, very rubbish.
Mm-hmm.
And I will put the caveat of when they have been very, very rubbish is because they've had injuries.
Yeah.
Con not stayed fit forever. Pau Torres has not stayed fit forever. Douglas Luiz gets injured every day. It seems like
Mm-hmm.
he's only starting to come back into the team again. They've been very unlucky with centre back this season. Like they've got enough depth there. It's just that their depth is also getting injured alongside their starting. So
Yeah.
I think they've just had a little bit of it's just a little bit unfortunate for them really. But even with all that adversity, Unai Emery's still gotten them playing well. You know, he's changed so slightly the player that they have. I think they've brought in one of the kids. I can't remember what his name is, but I know that his number's 55 on the back of his shirt. He's a decent centre back, you know, not amazing, but he's doing a job.
Mm-hmm.
And really, it shouldn't get bad enough to have to use one of your youth players, but he's getting a lot of experience. He's actually doing pretty well, in my opinion, and they're still winning games even within the team. So I think it shows the adaptability of Emery, but also the fact that they are still a very good team, even with a lot of weaknesses.
Yeah, no, definitely. I completely agree. And I think as well, like they've obviously shown some intent with their summer window as well. I think summer window, their January window. Like bringing in
Asensio and Rashford is incredible business.
I mean, I'm not Rashford's biggest fan in terms of the way he plays, but I think he definitely, if he was going to suit a certain play style, I think an Emery team would make sense because obviously they love playing on that, like they love playing off the back line and they love running in behind. So I think, I think that's very much his kind of style.
I mean, I've got it might be unpopular, it might not, but I'm more excited about the Asensio signing, if I'm really honest. I think already you can see that he's just a class above most other people in that team.
Yeah.
And I think there was one time in, I think, his debut where him and Rashford just came on, and then there was some link up between Asensio, Rashford, and Morgan Rogers. And I was thinking, I could see Man City doing that a few years ago. And that is an incredible piece of football.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, absolutely. And obviously he got the 2 goals.
The other day.
That's the thing. Like they were 1-0 down against Chelsea, won 2-1. Obviously, they got a very good result against Liverpool as well in the midweek. In that, the game brought forwards because of the Carabao Cup. 2-2 against Liverpool. I mean, you'll take that all day long, especially in their form. But then the thing is, so that's the thing. Last 2 games, 2-1 Liverpool, 2-1 Villa against Chelsea, 2-2 against Liverpool. But then the 2 games before that, league games, 1-1 to Ipswich, and then they lost 2-0 to Wolves. So. Yeah, and then again, you go back again, 1-1 to West Ham, 2-2 to Arsenal. So they're very much, I agree, that, very hot and cold. You don't really know what team's going to start. To be fair, I do think a lot of that is because they are playing in Europe this season and they've obviously got into the knockouts as well. And I mean, I don't know, is there a difference between playing Conference League football to Champions League football? Probably. I imagine it's probably more intense. For the same reason, like going up from the Championship to the Premier League's a bit of a step up as well.
I reckon you probably, even to the Champions League, you probably have to travel a little bit less compared to the Conference League. But I think just the intensity of the games is just so much higher, isn't it? And there's a lot more at stake, really. Because I think for Aston Villa, like Conference League, sick, if we get knocked out, but Champions League, you want to make the best impression possible, don't you?
Yeah, absolutely. And you look at teams that they've played as well. I mean, okay, young boys, pause.
Well, we've played them a few times in pre-season.
Yeah. If only we go on another pre-season tour in Europe, because that's the only taste we're getting at the moment.
Really?
Then obviously they played Bayern Munich. But Bologna, who obviously had a very good season last season, played Club Brugge, who, funny enough, they're playing again. Juve, Leipzig, Monaco. and then Celtic, and then they got Club Brugge again. But it's interesting to see when they've got those games. Actually, when have they got those games? So they've got their European games. So obviously they'll have today. So Glaston's alluding to us having a free game week. Like they've got that every week pretty much because they've got us obviously tomorrow, and then they got Cardiff on Saturday. They probably put out a weak team, I imagine. But then immediately on the 4th of March, which I believe that is a Wednesday or Tuesday, whatever it is. Sorry, Tuesday. Then they've got another game, and then they've got another game of the weekend, and then they've got the return fixture of that. So like it's just being in European football, I think that happens. I think you could see it with like Newcastle last season as well. I think they were very, very inconsistent because
Burnley got relegated the season they actually got European football, didn't they? It was just too much for them.
Yeah. Well, yeah, exactly. And I think it takes its toll, even not even like in the short term, but in the long term as well. Because I think Burnley, I don't think Burnley got to the group stage. I think they only got to the playoffs. But even then, I think like the physical toll that it takes on your team.
That's huge.
Yeah, exactly. But actually, whilst we're here, let's see if we can do a. Well, who would you like to see? Let me share my screen, and we'll just do maybe a quick little lineup of who we want to see.
I can pull up the normal thing we use if you want to do it that way.
Yeah, let's do it on there, and then we'll just ignore Millwall for now.
Yeah, well, that's probably the best case scenario, though, isn't it?
Yeah, I don't know if you noticed on the thumbnail, I didn't put their badge because I didn't want to.
Yeah, well, remember this is their cup final, even though they don't want to admit it. They think it's our cup final, but it's really not.
Yeah, that's the thing. They keep saying that they don't care about us, and then they're all banging on about trying to get a ticket. So I wonder if they take that many to all their other London away games. I don't think so. I think they took about 5 to Plymouth. So.
I wonder if they've got more than 7 fans.
I don't think they do.
No, me neither. So against Villa, I do believe that the goalkeeper can play 3 games in a week. Henderson goes in here.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, to be fair to Matt Turner, in the fixture against them in the cup, he didn't actually do too bad, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
I would go the same back line, I think.
Trying to remember, did Turner play in the Doncaster game now? I can't remember.
Yes.
Okay. So I imagine he'll probably play
would you agree? I would think that Henderson will play on Saturday as well, because the second the cup starts getting serious, he gets dropped, doesn't he?
Oh, does he?
It happened at Arsenal. Henderson came in.
Oh yeah, of course he did. Yeah. No, that makes sense. Yeah.
I would go Chilwell to get his first start in a Palace shirt.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's at home with Munoz on the other side. I think Adam Wharton will start because he didn't actually play that much in this game.
Mm-hmm.
Now it gets a little bit tricky with what do we do here? Because you can go one of 2 ways, really. You could go Hughes in there, or you could go Kamada in there next to Wharton.
I think
I would go Kamada here because I would rather play Hughes against Millwall.
I think Hughes would get stuck in more against Millwall.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Kamada would get a bit bullied, to be honest.
So we're saying Kamada in here against Villa?
Yeah, I'll be happy with that. That's fine. Yeah, I mean, and I think I can't see Ebbs being dropped. He had a very good game. I don't think he'll drop. I think he'll play 3 games. To be honest, Ebbs.
I agree. I think Ebbs will play.
I think
Mateta will play, but I don't think Mateta will play the full 90.
No.
Does SA get a start here, or do you think that we're going to play Eze on the right and slot Devaney in on that left-hand side.
Oh, yeah, Sar's not about. Did Sar pick up an injury?
No, that was Lerma.
Oh, that was Lerma. Okay. I would still play Sar, to be honest, just because I think his, like, the way he is, I think he'll suit playing against Villa's high line.
I mean, to be fair, I'm not trying to say too much here because, you know, if you start being confident, then it's going to bite you. I think, maybe it's an unpopular opinion, but we've played Villa, twice already this season and once last season. I've got a feeling that Oliver Glasner's actually got Emery's number when it comes to tactically.
Oh, no. Go on.
I'm sorry, but every time we play them, we're under Glasner, we do very, very well. And Glasner sort of understands how to beat them. In the Cup, we played this formation, and I remember because Eze was injured here, and this was Devaney, wasn't it? And we basically played
like a free in midfield, yeah.
That, didn't we?
Yeah,
and
yeah.
Really and truly, this is sort of what Eze's been doing for the last few months, apart from the Fulham game, where he's sort of been dropping and then Sarr going up. But because they've got injuries and they still persist with that high line, just having Sarr to be able to run in behind, he hasn't missed a single one-on-one yet this season, even when he's offside. I would almost, I'd say, oh, it worked last time, just recreate it again.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree. I think I think it would make more sense to play like if he was going to play one of the games, it definitely I think starting him in this game would make more sense.
So you would think playing SA, so you would start SA against Millwall?
I mean, it depends on. It's hard to say because obviously a lot of it all depends on, you know, their fitness, how tired they are, whatever. I mean, if Sar's good to go both games, then I guess why not? But I think maybe against Millwall, I think maybe having the ball a bit more would make more sense.
They're going to sit in more of a low block compared to Villa, won't they?
Yeah, exactly. And I don't think they're necessarily going to play a high line. And I think, and also obviously, you know, you'd like to see SA get minutes, and obviously, you know, especially against Millwall as well, if he scores.
I hope he celebrates. All this wokeness about not celebrating against your old team, just celebrate, please.
I hope he shushes him.
He goes up to the Arthur and goes.
Like at least say. Anyways, before we go on to Millwall, I'll just do some score predictions for this game. I'm going to go. See, I don't know. The thing is with these games,
score predictions in the Discord, mate, or we'll forget because I nearly forgot until Rich reminded me earlier.
Oh yeah.
I went 1-1.
You know what? I'm going to be different. I'm going to say 2-1 Palace. I'm going to back us.
Ooh, at home. Are you sure?
Yeah. To be honest, you know what? Honestly, my relatively, I haven't researched it in great depth yet, but I've got a feeling that I think one of the reasons that we are bad at home is because our finishing at home is terrible. And I think our away, actually, I can check that now. Let's have a quick look.
What's our conversion rate at home versus away?
Let's have a look. So overall, okay. I always love doing this. Oh, we're actually bottom now. That's great.
Man United are now better than us at home.
No, sorry, that's overall.
We're actually bottom.
So non-penalties, not including penalties, our conversion rate at the moment is -8.
How many penalties have we had this year? I think we've had one, right?
Two. I don't know who the second one was, but it's 2. Can't remember. Wow, Bournemouth have had 7. Wow. So Liverpool had 7 as well. Anyway, without going too off tangent. Wow, sorry, this is another one. So Southampton have had 2 and missed both of them. Sorry, I'm getting off track here. But yeah, so overall it's -8. So let's just do some quick maths here, right? So home and away, Crystal Palace. At home are... that is definitely a lot stinkier at home than it is away. So away, right, our XG is 18.5. So we've created 18.5 worth of chances and we've scored 19 goals. So we're actually overscoring on away ever so slightly. But at home, right, we've scored 12 goals, right?
Yeah.
But we've created 18.1.
Horse, we are 6 goals under.
Yeah, at home.
So overall, we're 5.5 goals worse off than we should be.
Yeah. But bear in mind, though, those figures do include penalties. So that's why it doesn't add up to the ones that I just said before. Because that includes penalties. But yeah, so there you go. Because because you look, especially like in the first sort of 8 games of the season as well. Like I'm thinking back to like West Ham, for example. Like we had chances in that game.
Brentford.
We didn't take them. They took theirs. Yeah, same with Brentford as well.
Chelsea as well is a big one. We should have beaten those guys at the end.
Yeah, Chelsea, Newcastle, Wolves.
Oh yeah, Newcastle. They didn't have a shot. We scored an own goal for them as well.
They had one shot the whole game and it was off target. I think their XG was
0.01, right?
Yeah.
And we scored a goal for them and it was still 1-1.
Yeah.
The Palace way.
But anyways, yeah, we'll save that for the international break though. But
for another Q&A.
Early, yeah, we'll do another Q&A in national break. But that's my early theory. Anyways, let's move on to talking about some other club in South London
that lives in a shed.
I'm not sure I've even heard of their name before.
What is a wool mill?
I mean, I've heard of Bromley, I've heard of Cray Wanderers, I've heard of Welling United, but I've never heard of these people.
Yeah, I've heard of Croydon Athletic,
Croydon Common FC,
Clapham Common FC.
Right, let's just do some comments. Tooting and Mitcham. Oh yeah, actually, that's what I was surprised by. So that Bangura Williams, who plays for Millwall,
yeah,
he actually started off at Tooting and Mitcham. So I'm sure I saw it, and I'm sure I recognise his name, and I've seen him play for Tooting a long time ago. But yeah, anyway,
watching kids now, Dan.
He's an adult.
Oh, he is now.
No, he was playing in the first team.
Dulwich Hamlet.
Let's go through some comments. Big up outlet from Vietnam, pagans.
Tim loves that word now, you know.
Big up Vietnam. I've not been to Vietnam, but I would love to go one day.
I would want to cross the road there. Have you seen the roads there?
Well, people normally drive like mopeds, don't they?
Yeah, you literally have to walk out in front of the road like this, just your hand out and hope for the best.
Jesus. Saar versus Martson is cash money. To be fair, that's like
pace for pace, isn't it?
That's like Norwood High Street after the game. To be fair,
or walking.
Yeah. Saar versus Martson is cash money. Yeah, I think Martson's defensive work isn't as good as attacking work. Big up Tenju. Thank you for joining in. Evening to you. Big up Earth. Big up Animal. Big up Durfez. We could have beaten City 2. Yeah, actually, that's a good point. They scored pretty much their 2 opportunities from what I remember, and I was disappointed not to beat them, actually. Dan, what is your verdict on JC's rubber-looking Mackie Burger and delicious Burger King's burger? Well, I did mention it before the stream that there is a battle of the food reviews going on. JC always does a Mackey's. Rich has done a Burger King. I seem to just do random ones, whatever's convenient. Between
all I'm saying
a bowling pie and a chicken.
Rich's burger came with no sauce, and that's poor.
I thought at Burger King, don't you have to add your own sauce or something? Like, do you have to select it? I can't remember. Because you know what? Honestly, I've probably had in my lifetime. I probably had about 2 burgers from Burger King.
I don't know. Burger King's not regularly available for me.
But I mean, I do like a Mackey's. I'm not really a Burger King guy.
There
If
you
I'm
go.
going to be spending that kind of money, I'd rather spend it on like a Five
On what you
Guys
know.
or
Oh no,
yeah,
Five Guys is too much. You need
yeah.
to take a mortgage out on a Five Guys.
Yeah, I was going to say something very pausey, so I'm not going to say it then.
Ah.
Millwall is actually East London. Yeah, it is actually. It's the Isle of Dogs, so they're not the original South London club, are they? In fact, I think we were founded by the time that they actually moved south of the river. So, yeah. Dulwich, Hamlet, Erasure. Lions can't catch Eagles, absolutely. Fisher FC, I think it's Fisher Athletic, isn't it? Dulwich, Hamlet, Kingstonian. I think SA could score against his own old team. Yeah, absolutely. Welling, Kennington, AFC. Guess who's ninth in the Eagle-Eyed Fantasy Premier League? I'm guessing it's you. I haven't had a look at that in a while.
I actually haven't had a look. Let me have a look.
I've flopped a little bit recently, unfortunately. So
Okay, so number 9 is Malcolm Ebiue, which is definitely the dog.
Imagine if the dog was actually Malcolm Ebiue this whole time.
Have we just been saying his work rate shit the whole time? Then again, it'll be a bit weird if you was your own biggest fan, right? I don't know.
Yeah, maybe. JC could never. Yeah. Where are you, JC? Actually, I don't even know where
I am.
At one point, I was top of the channel, but
I am.
I think I've dropped now. I've flopped.
Out of 70 people, I am 54. Are you in it?
I am in it, but I don't know where. I haven't checked it for a while, so I don't know where I'm in.
Let me have a look. Chairman's 45th. Ree is 40th. Rich is 26th. Nikki's 17th. Dan is 16th.
Cool.
So you are top of Eagle-Eyed Football, I believe. Yes. And top of the whole thing in Eagle-Eyed Football is a guy called Jason Kinsley. Big up yourself.
Big up. Walked into a lamppost and called it pagan while saying "move, man."
Move, man. Streets are saying the dog is just Tim's burner.
Roads here, you better blockers than Max. BK stinks.
Burger King
stinks.
People are back in the Mackies, you know.
Tim hates sauce in burgers. Does he really? How could you? You can't have a dry burger. Come on. Go have some sauce in there. Arsenal went big up, Lee. Arsenal went unbeaten all season, so it's been 18 games. Yeah, if you take out all the corruption from all their fans, from all the decisions that have been made against them this season, they've been unbeaten since the dawn of time, I think. Morley's over Burger King. McDonald's fled Crystal Palace in 2006.
I mean, there may or may not be a Morley's one coming soon. You never know. You never know.
So
there's a lot of burgers out there. That's all I'm saying. There's a lot of burgers.
I like to mix it up. I like to have baldy pies, chicken, everything.
A burger.
Try out the local cuisines.
Burger.
Anyways, we've waffled on long enough.
We've done half an hour and nothing.
And all of you will see why we've waffled for half an hour very, very shortly. But anyways, let's talk about the predicted 11s going into this game.
You know what time it is? It's injury time. Millwall have no injuries. They've got 2 players that are one booking away from a suspension, but it doesn't really matter. Going over to Crystal Palace, our injuries are exactly the same. Chadi Riyad, Chet Decore, and Joel Ward. Sick. Let's get into it. We gave you sort of a little preview of what we think the Villa team will be like. And I'm not going to lie to you. I think the same team will play, just adding Hughes in. Just as a recap, we are at home. Henderson in goal, Chilwell, Mark, Lacroix, Richards, Munoz, with Wharton, Hughes in the middle, Ebbs, Mateta, and Sarr up front. That could very well be Mitchell on the left, because I don't know if Chilwell's fit enough to start 2 games in a week after he hasn't played for such a long time. Who knows? But I think resting Hughes to then play him in this game will be very key to us being successful. As you can see, we've got a very, very strong bench. Nketiah, Klein, Kamada, Esse, Lerma, Kapora, Devaney, França, and Mitchell. We've got a lot of people on the bench, which we normally don't. Dan, are you in agreement with this team?
Yeah, I think that's probably what we'll be playing, yeah.
Mm-hmm. I do think that if there was going to be a game where Glasner was to bring on one of our players because they're going to be playing in a low block, it would definitely be Esse, I would say, because he's pretty able to break down a low block with Eze quite easily because they can both dribble really well. And when we talk about it later, they do struggle a little bit when people drive at them with the ball at their feet. Going on to Millwall now. They sort of they set up as a 4-2-3-1, but they never really do it. They normally play a sort of a 3 at the back. But one thing I will say, and I think someone said it in the chat earlier, their defenders are just tanks all over the pitch. 6'4" plus brick, house kind of defenders, really. And I hate to say it, they do play a lot of hoofball, and I think Dan's gonna go into that as much as he can. But there's limitations of what you can say about kicking it long and hoping for the best. Kick long and inshallah is something that great philosophers have said before. But I've gone with Jensen in goal, with Brian, Cooper, Tanganga, and Kramer at right back, with Denor and Saville. Bit of a dodgy person to have in the middle of the park there, if I do say so myself.
No comment.
With Aziz and Kundle. So you've got Saville and Cuddle in the middle. I think that's Negli.
Yeah, something like that.
And then Ivanovic up front. I'm not going to lie to you. I've never heard of any of them apart from Tanganga because he played for Spurs. And I saw some things on Twitter saying Tanganga put Palace on strings the last time he played against us. Newsflash, he got sent off and Spurs lost 3-0. That's all I'm saying. And he's their best player. Cool.
Funny thing is, he probably actually is their best player. Because when I watched...
Dan's got a few stats for you about him, but we'll get to that a little bit later. People might be wondering, where is Bangros Williams? He got dropped. So this guy that was, he's so much better than Esse, blah, 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 blah. He got dropped. He got injured. He came back. He got dropped. He's playing in the 21s again. So the guy who was so much better than Esse, that can do everything he can and better, and he's younger, he's not playing for them anymore. So that's about it. Dan, agreement, disagreement, what are you changing for them?
I mean, yeah, because it did seem like sometimes they would swap out players and that, but I think that's because they're championship sides, so they play more games than we do. But yeah, that's what I went for, to be honest. Just whatever that's basically a team they played against Derby, wasn't it?
Pretty much.
Yeah. No, that's basically it. Really.
And they played the exact same team when they lost 5-1 against Plymouth as well.
Oh, okay. That's good to know. Lovely. Right, let's go through some comments, and I'll say all I can about hoofball. Lewis, I misunderstood what you meant by when they went unbeaten the whole season. Yeah. So Arsenal are 27 games unbeaten away, Liverpool 21, Chelsea 20. So we're on. What are we on? We're on not. We're on not
9.
nearly there.
If we get double digits, then we're in a conversation.
Yeah, Louis, do you know what because I think the record for the amount of wins in a row, I think we're not far off, but I'm not too sure what it is.
Yeah, because I think we're 5 now in the league, aren't we?
Yeah, I think in the league, is it 5? Yeah, 5. I think five.
I'll
in
try
the
and
league.
Google it while you talk about hoofball.
Yeah. But yeah, I think it's the wins in a row. I think we're not far off the record. Tanganga is a wasteman for what he did against Wilf. Will Hines. The dog said it about the defenders being tanky. Mill lost 5-1 to Plymouth, so not that tanky.
Oh, no, we're miles off it. 12 is the
the away win record.
Away wins in a row, which is by Man City in 2021 when they got over 100 points.
12. Oh, okay, so we're nowhere
we're
near.
Miles off it.
What was I thinking? Maybe no. What was all?
Consecutive home wins is Liverpool at 24.
Or is it clean sheets? Maybe it's clean sheet. Oh, I don't know. I'm just changing the goal. I'm just moving the goalpost.
You're moving the goalpost to make it suit whatever you want.
Yeah, basically.
Okay,
I'll try and find to hear the pagan shout Mill the whole game. Yep, something like that. They'll all be I'm not going to go into it because I probably can't say it on here. Palace has at least 2 strikers, whilst Arsenal have 0 strikers, which is amazing. Full credit to Palace. Yeah, I bet they wish they didn't sell Eddie Nketiah now. Raksaki
I found a record with Crystal Palace in it.
Go on then.
Most points in a season to ever be relegated.
Oh yeah. No, I did know that one.
And also the lowest attendance in a single match was
even though it was Sellers, but it wasn't.
Even though it was Wimbledon Everton.
Yeah, but I think that was in the midst of when Wimbledon were basically going down the toilet, and then they ended up moving up to Milton Keynes.
And that's it. Nothing else is Crystal Palace on it, which is good.
Although I'm fairly sure Andy Johnson at one point had the record for like the most penalties scored in the season, I think, or something like that.
Go on,
in the Premier League season.
He liked burgers. He definitely liked burgers.
Big up, Rich. Right, now let's talk about Millwall's attack. Yeah. Right. Oh, I never realised how small that is on there. Okay.
Yeah.
Right, let's get your stats out.
Stats up for the lads.
In the Championship this season, Millwall have the 11th lowest XG in the league, which, to be fair, I say that, I think that ends up being 13th, and with 39.7 XG this season. But interestingly, they've got the 7th highest XG away from home, which I thought was interesting. However, they're a bit like us. Maybe this is a South London thing in that they've underscored their XG quite a lot. 4.6 they've underscored by. There's nothing particularly special about their XG per shot or the amount of shots they take. They're around about mid-table for both of those. However, they are bottom for attempted passes overall. Bottom for attempted short passes, but second bottom for attempted medium passes, but they rank 10th for long passes attempted. Oh. So you can see where I'm going here. Their shot creating actions, there wasn't anything wildly different. Like as in what I do is like if they rank, I don't know, 10th for the amount of shots that they have, if they say rank 10th for shots created by take-ons, then I just kind of forget, I like ignore that. If it's wildly different, then I'll take notice. So, for example, the shot creating actions that seem to be the thing that generate a lot of their shots are dead ball situations. Unsurprising there. So corners, free kicks. But interestingly, they've only scored from 3 corners this season and none from free kicks. So I don't know why that is, but yeah. Now, interestingly, despite having the fewest attempted passes in the league. They're actually mid-table for the amount of attacking touches. So touches they take in the attacking penalty box. But again, they take the fewest overall. So it does seem that they do get into the box relatively often, considering how much possession that they have. They also rank 8th for completed crosses into the box, unsurprising really. 12th for passes into the box. So I think from what I think here is that because they rank 3rd. Wait, hang on a minute. They rank 3rd lowest for passes into the final third. So if they pass it from the middle third into the final third, they rank the 3rd lowest in the championship. But then they seem to jump up to mid-table for touches in the attacking penalty box and 12th. So to me, that all suggests that they do attack. They're very direct in their play, and that is absolutely true. So, generally what you'll see from them, and to be honest, the way that they attack very much feeds into how it seemed like they defend. So when you're listening to JC, bear in mind what he says will very much feed into kind of like how they attack. Because basically, let's say that we're all the way up here, they're defending, blah, 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 something like this, something like that. I don't know, Munoz is overlapping over here. Maybe it looks, I don't know, something a bit like this or whatever. If they win the ball, let's say here, as soon as that happens, they are gonna be very direct. They're gonna start running to try and stretch this back line, basically to create space in this kind of area between the defence and our midfield if they win the ball in these kind of areas. And to be fair, I do think a lot of the hoofball was more of a Neil Harris thing than an Alex Neil thing, because what I did notice with Alex Neil was that they do tend to, in these situations, rather than it going over the top, let's say, they do seem to try to play to feet a little bit more. And they will try and play 1-2 to try and generate, positive situations when they are on the counter. But this is where they really try to do their damage. They try and win turnovers in these kind of areas of the pitch, from what I saw, to then try and turn into attack very, very quickly. And again, it's the same when you kind of go further up the pitch as well. For what it looked like to me was that they will try and press in this side of the pitch when it's favourable for them. So again, they can try and win the ball in these areas of the pitch. Whether they do this against us, so obviously we're comparing that to a championship. In a championship context, would they necessarily do that against us? I don't know. That remains to be seen. But I think we'll be able to play around that, so I'm not too worried about that. But how else do they attack? So let's say that they've got the ball. I think JC was telling me before the stream that their goalkeeper Jensen is in the 99th percentile for average length of goal kick, wasn't it?
Yeah, so out of all goalkeepers within Europe, he's in the top 99 percentile for length of goal kicks, which basically means every goal kick is a hoof. Because, like Henderson's, for example, if you look at his average is, Henderson's average is 30 meters for goal kick. So that, and bearing in mind, I think 60 meters, 70 meters is like about the halfway line, kicking it that far.
Mm-hmm.
But this guy's average is 63.9, which is basically hitting the halfway line every kick. But also every single touch that he takes, 63% of all kicks by him are also hitting that halfway line. So whenever he's got the ball, he's never passing it. He passes it, I don't know, 4 out of 10 times he touches the ball. Every other time that ball's getting sent long, and there's nothing the centre backs can do about it to stop him. He's just hoofing it and getting rid of it.
Yeah. So I mean that lays it out really, doesn't it? So generally what you'll see now, what I did notice was the way that they kind of set up is that the striker Ivanovic tends to drift to the right hand side, and so does Kundal. And also what I noticed was that, from what I noticed, Kramer, whoever his name is, he tends to be more attacking than Brian. I guess they tend to tuck in a little bit like this, but then Aziz tends to keep on this side, and I've got a theory to why that is, and I'll tell you in a minute. But let's say they kick it long, obviously they're going to aim for these kind of areas, and then if you got the striker who's perhaps dropped off over here, and then you got you're overloading this side. If you're going to kick the ball over there, you're more likely to win the header. You're more likely to win that second ball. And let's say, even if you do get pushed back a little bit, you got the ball much further up the pitch and you're not getting pressed by our team. So I imagine they won't change this kind of style at all. What I will say as well is that this overloading on this side will... See, this is the other thing as well. They don't really play against back fives as much because of the nature of it. But because they overload this side, it does give them opportunities for good rotations on this side, I noticed. So, for example, Kramer goes forward and let's say, I don't know, Eze then comes out to commit. Because you've got an overload here, it's going to pull Will Hughes over, it's going to pull Wharton over, it's going to pull all of our team just slightly over because of how it is. And they do try to rotate and do 1-2s on this side of the pitch. So let's say Kramer passes it. As soon as he's done that, he's going to try and make a run there and look for a 1-2 with whoever he can, and vice versa with any of those other players. And if they are in this situation as well, what it also means is that let's say that they, maybe there isn't a way where they can drop off. And then they can try and get the ball to Aziz on the other side, who is a very decent dribbler. And I think the reason why they do try to overload this right-hand side is because it does force teams to go over to that side. And then that leaves Aziz with a bit more space and potentially a 1v1 situation where he will more often than not cut inside. Brian will maybe provide an overlapping run just to try and, try and draw out the player or something like that. But generally, Aziz will cut inside and then try and pass or have a shot.
Scored against Plymouth, I think.
Yeah, he did. And he scored immediately a very, very lucky goal against Leeds. But yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But I think, to be honest, that's pretty much all it is. So really, you just got to be thinking about the counter-attack. So making sure we don't lose the ball in the middle or even sort of in this kind of area, because then they will be very direct. And obviously as well, there's also the added element of they are the underdog. They are a championship side. They're definitely going to try and get at us. They're going to be very physical. They're going to get in our faces. That is absolutely for sure. And that's, to be honest, that was a theme for what I saw. Even in championship games, they're very much getting the other team's face and make it difficult for them. So just try not to lose it there. Be mindful. And to be honest, even if they do break, I probably do back, say, Lacroix to be covering, any runs in behind, to be honest. The only thing that I would maybe worry about a little bit is that if it is thrown over this side of the pitch, Gay, Mitchell, Eze, and Hughes, they're not the best in the air, I don't think, especially if it falls on the back line. Gay and Mitchell aren't the best in the air. That would be better for Lacroix, but then obviously you don't really want Lacroix going all the way over there because then you're maybe pulling them out a bit too far. So he's going to have to try and deal with it, or maybe we just let him win the ball and we just try and pick up the second ball afterwards, perhaps, because I don't think he's good enough to be taking it down on his chest or anything and then running around everywhere. So that's what I would say. And again, on the other side, I don't think this is going to be too much of a problem on this overload because, they've got an overload, but, they don't actually have an overload because it would be 4v4 unless Denor then pushes up as well. But then at that point, I don't think you're really going to get, I think it's fine, really. because you could end up in that shape. And even then, if they do manage to, even if they manage to get it over very quickly, Aziz is potentially going to have, even if he has backup from these two, which is probably unlikely, we've still got 3 players here versus their 3, and I would back those 3 players to defend against these 3, to be honest. So, yeah. So really, we just got to make sure we are winning those individual battles as well. And yeah, just make sure we don't let them dominate us physically. And I think we're on to a winner there, to be honest. And that's it.
Cool.
Any questions? I will answer. Actually, Rich's question is more for you, but I will answer Animal's question. In terms of their attacking set pieces, it's really weird because they create a lot of shots from dead ball situations, but they haven't scored very many this season. And to be honest, even when I watched quite a lot of their highlights, and to be honest, a lot of their highlights weren't even them with a set piece, which I thought was odd. So I'm wondering, because another stat that was in their favour is that weirdly they actually get fouled the 3rd most in the Championship, which is mad considering that their possession isn't very high.
I would also have a look at Aziz, as he's pretty a very, very good dribbler. I would say, if you look at how many fouls he's won.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah,
I would say that would probably be where I look, because he is quite a tricky winger when it comes to very quick feet, not a lot of end product, but very good on the ball.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah, I actually, to be honest, we can check that very quickly. But yeah, I think just and I think we're good at defending set pieces anyway. So honestly, I'm not really that worried for set pieces, maybe as I normally would be. But yeah, but in terms of players getting fouled. He's won 11 fouls this season. Sorry, yeah, he's won 11 fouls, but he's given away 24. But one fact I will actually leave on, the player that they have that has taken the most shots in the Championship this season is Tanganga, their centre-back.
Their best player as well.
Yeah, to be fair, he is definitely their best player. Anyways, let's just quickly go through some other comments. I'll leave that Rich's question for you in a minute, JC. The player back 5 like I did against Preston. I'm sure JC will speak about that. Palace Academy are 1-0 up against West Brom so far. No matter what team Glasner picks on the day, the bench will be strong. Yeah, he loves going for it, and everyone, obviously we'll be going to a quarter final if we win as well. So that'd be great. How do we prevent a Doncaster tepidness in our play? I guess that one's for you as well, JC. And everyone wants to foul Millwall. Yes.
No one likes.
Because actually, no, I can't say it yet, can I? No. Right. Anyways, their defense.
How do Millwall defend? I already alluded to it earlier. They have tanks at the back, but they like to defend very, very deep. So they defend slightly differently to how most teams in the Premier League defend, sort of in a 4-5-1. They have one guy in Ivanovic who probably isn't the best at it, but they make him do it anyway. He's sort of the guy that presses anyone in this area of the pitch. However, if you get the ball out wide, you would think, oh, these two players are just going to... Damn. Yeah, you would think these two players are just going to go out there and press the ball. No. They will watch you with the ball out here. So genuinely, you've got this whole touchline to yourself because they're not going to push out and they're not going to try and win the ball out wide. They want to defend the central areas as much as possible. Yes, this may change because, as Dan said earlier, Championship team, Premier League team. With a Premier League team, no matter who it is, you don't want to give them space. So will they be pressing us a little bit more? Probably. But if they're doing that and they're not used to it, they're going to start tailing off towards the end of the game. But already in a Millwall playstyle, they've actually conceded 40% of all their goals in the last 20 minutes of every football match. So they already get tired of the playstyle that they're doing. So if they're pressing and trying to be a little bit more out there with what they're doing against us, that means that 20-minute spell at the end of the game where they're really vulnerable, that could extend. That could be a whole second half of the football match. So that is something that we could definitely play into our hands. This sort of next point is probably going to answer quite a lot of questions about how we're going to attack. Is it going to be dead? Blah, blah, blah. How do we make it even better? Let's move the team up a little bit. Let's get these guys back a bit. Chilwell be up. Here we go. I actually think that we've got a very, very good chance of their defense and how it's set up is going to play almost perfectly into our hands. I say that because, yes, they sit very, very deep and they want to leave as minimal space in the pocket as possible. So the pocket in between the defenders and the midfield, they want to keep this area as tight as possible, so there's no one that can pick up the space in between, which is where Eze likes to pick up the ball to turn and run and makes chances. But they want to keep that as narrow as possible. But you're thinking, okay, that's cool. But one thing that is very, very interesting is that even when they're back and they're in a low block and they're settled, the half space is still very wide, which sort of leads me to believe that they don't zonally mark, but they're also not very good at man-to-man marking either. So they sort of defend in a sort of weird hybrid where the defenders will sort of see you're in their area, they will follow you to an extent, but then they'll sort of forget that and then go back into position again. And by this happening, it makes their back line, it's never straight. So you could literally, so for example, you know how Mateta was called offside against Fulham because they literally their defenders stepped up as he ran in behind. I think Mateta was very unlucky to be offside there because it was very tight, but it was the right call. But there will be times in this game where the defenders are all over the place trying to track their man and then saying, no, need to get back into position, and they'll be doing all this. But while doing that, someone like Tanganga could step up, and then Mateta could stand behind him, goal side, but then because their defenders are all over the place, he will still be onside. So literally just giving someone a nudge and playing on the shoulder, you would be able to be goal side, be onside, and have a clear run at goal just because of how all over the place they are, which is quite interesting. Also, I did say about the pocket being very, very tight here, but the half spaces are always open. That's how I think that we're going to get at Millwall. If we give Mateta, Munoz, who will be running this underlap, in my opinion, in this game, because I think that you want SARS crossing out wide, but you want Munoz's energy in here. So this is probably how I think we'd probably look to go forwards. With Wharton and Hughes, we'll be able to do the one-touch passing. And with the half space being so wide, we'll be able to knock the ball into someone like Eze and then link up the play with one-touch passing. One-touch passing, in my opinion, is the key to dismantle Millwall here. Yes, I think transitional play as well is very important because that's how we win so many games away from home, with Mateta running through the half spaces here again. But I think that the fact that they're going to have so much space in this area, and from how Eze was playing against Fulham, he didn't have half of this space that he's going to have in this game. And see what he could do against Premier League defenders, I feel like he's going to have a field day against Millwall. They're going to be all up in his face, though. They're going to try and take him out, this, that, and everything, because it's a championship team. They're going to throw absolutely everything at you first 15, 20 minutes. But I think Wharton's passing range and the conviction behind his passing, the fact that he can just zip the ball into feet, and the Eze, Mateta, They've all got the qualities to kill the ball dead and then move it on, and even one touch as well. I feel like this is going to be the way, sort of like a Aston Villa kind of way of doing it. You want to go from the back to the front, go through all the lines as quickly as possible. Because they sit so deep, they are still vulnerable to a counter attack. You know, if you turn over the ball, they're all over the place again. Like I said, with out wide, they will not press you out here. But if you're in here with the centre backs, the centre backs will literally try and jump on you. They will be so aggressive to step out of line that a simple 1-2, you could play your way around them. Plymouth scored 3 goals against them just by doing this. Plymouth striker was running towards one of their centre backs. The centre back pushed out. He literally gave it to the number 10, ran around their centre back, got the ball back, and shot. And they scored 3 goals by doing that. That is literally the most simple way you can score a goal. A 1-2 of your winger, a 1-2 of your number 10, and a shot on target. We will be able to replicate this with Mateta, Eze, Wharton, Munoz, Start, a lot of people. And I think the fact that we've also got a lot of width as well with Sarr and Chilwell, I thought we'd be able to have so many strings to our bow that they'd be sitting back. But when they do sit back, and if they do concede, all these slow centre backs, all of them will step up, and that's where the game goes from hopefully winning 1-0, where the game could be won 5-0, because their really slow centre backs will step up and they'll try and play in midfield to try and make something happen. Yes, they'll add pressure, but it just gives us more of an opportunity to lift the ball for Adam Wharton to take a touch, and literally as he did it on his first touch when he came on against Fulham, he took a touch, looked up, saw Sarr was on the move, and just dumped it into some space, and then we was in here. We could do that tenfold against Millwall as well. Other than that, press them. they literally hoof it forwards, and I think they've actually got one of the most. Obviously, this guy goalkeeper kicks long 60% of the time. He's a little bit like how Henderson was. He's got, I don't know what the actual number is, but the amount of goal kicks that go out for throw-ins is quite high as well, which I thought is quite interesting. So press them, press the centre-backs. They're not very good on the ball. And really and truly, there's not really much else to say other than we are the better team. We need to show our confidence. We need to play like we did at Fulham. We just need to show that we are the better team and just take them apart. They will sit deep. They will try and make it hard for us. And I think, like I said, the one-touch passing, moving the ball really quickly and dribbling at them, because they make really rash decisions when you dribble at them. I think they gave away a stupid penalty against Plymouth just because of their man marking was so bad. They had to make a rash decision in the box. Rich here says Eze should start. I don't think he should start. I feel we need to try and see if we can utilize Sarr's pace and his experience, because let's be real, Eze has been playing for Millwall for the last 2-3 years. They're going to know how to defend against him. They've been training with him for years now, so they're going to know everything he can do. Yes, he is clear of that team, which is why he got the Premier League move. But I feel like you bring him on when you're really struggling to break down that low block. If Eze's dribbling's not doing it, if the link-up play is not quite doing it with Sarr, then you bring on the Eze for Sarr, and then you can have Eze and Eze sort of linking up that way, which will be very entertaining, and also it'll be very lethal when breaking down a low block.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I can. To be honest, it's one of those things, and you know what? It's nice actually just to be able to say like we've actually got a little bit of depth. We're like, do you know what I mean? Like we've got two viable options in that place.
Yeah. And you can also say that even late on into the game, like if they push up that much, you very well could go, okay, Mateta's been running a hell of a lot and his pace is sort of dying off a little bit. Put Nketiah on.
Yeah.
He can just beeline it straight to the goal. So you've got options there. With Will Hughes goes down, you could put Lerma in there. If you need a little bit more quality on the pass, you put Kamada in there. Oh, we might need to defend a little bit more on the left side. You put Mitchell in there.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we've got options, which is strange, but it's nice to have. And then also, if you're winning 2-3-0, put Devaney on for Eze. Just see out the game. So we've got options, and Glasner's more than smart enough to utilize those players.
And I think because I watched actually at 10:30 the embargoed Glasner comments will be out. But from what I watched his interview today, or the 15-minute one that they released on, I released that earlier. And my understanding, like, I think he alluded it to on Friday as well, was like basically saying, we got three games in a week. Like, we don't need to be playing, like, every player doesn't need to play, like, 90 minutes, whatever. I think it is about utilizing the squad as best as possible. So, like I can see, like the Dog and Earth talking about perhaps Eddie starting. I think, he could very well do. Like, it could even be a case of, if we're doing all right against Villa, if we're maybe winning against Villa at half time, who knows? Maybe he'll take Mateta off at 60 minutes and put Nketiah on, and then
Glasner is very much of a. Sorry, I think Glasner's very much of a manager where he wants to go strong, get the game done, and then make the changes.
Yeah, absolutely.
He's never gone weak and then brought people on.
Absolutely, and because I know, like, there's been talk about our performances against, like, lower league teams, but to be honest, I've got a theory about this, and I'll see how this develops. But I've got a theory that Glasner's teams in cups, they always seem to raise their game enough to beat that team, but not too much, especially when, like, because I mean, at the end of the day, you're not going to go full pelt against Doncaster. You're not going to do that, and arguably even against, like, Millwall, you're not going to do that either. And I feel like he always seems to get him to do, like, just enough to do it. Like, we never seem to blow a team away, but we do seem to, like, enough to, like, see us through. And it wouldn't surprise me. Like, let's say we are, I don't know, let's say we're winning at half time against Millwall. Maybe he will bring on SA then instead. Do you know what I mean? Like, I think I think he's a very smart manager, and I think he'll try and use the squad over the week as we can.
And I do think that, let's say that they do get an early goal before us, the mentality in the team will switch, and then the team will start playing like how we have been in the Premier League.
Yeah, exactly, absolutely. And I think Mitch makes a good point about SA's introduction to the lineup. Like, maybe it would be better for him to come on, say, against Villa in the, because then then he's making his, I guess he's making his second appearance. Then, does he necessarily want to be starting against Millwall? Like, would that go to his head a little bit? Perhaps we don't know.
Or looking at it the other way, would that spur him on even more to try and play better?
Well, this is the thing, and these are the factors that at the end of the day, like, we're never going to know.
No, this is a fully Glasner and him conversation to have.
Yeah, absolutely. SA and Dog saying SA will play in a flow state with the amount of adrenaline he'll have. He has to start. And if he were against any other team, short play SA. Any merch coming out in the future? Not too sure. Not.
I don't think so. I think we tried it, but I think it was a bit. To be fair, I think that was literally just for us to wear on camera.
Yeah.
So we never really promoted it. We just said, "Oh, it's there. If you want it, sick. If you don't matter." Yeah. But maybe in the future.
I've got a hat, but I can only wear it in the summer because otherwise I look like a right idiot in the winter.
Twat.
Yeah.
I've got a beanie.
You can't wear that in the summer. I guess we're like the opposites. Then you can wear yours in the winter, but I can't wear mine in the winter. Really. Well, except for Everton, literally last home game where he tried to go strong. He tried to go stronger second half. Right. So, anything else we want to talk about? Just predictions, I guess. Prediction for Millwall, I think. You know what? I think it's just going to be a sensible victory, and I think we'll win 2-0. I think Millwall will get chances. I think, any team we play against is probably going to get chances, but I think he'll play a strong team. And I can't see anything other than a win, to be honest.
Yeah, I am going to agree with you. I'm going to go 2-0 as well. I think that it's going to be a very professional performance. I think the team is very mentally strong as well, very focused. Even in the Premier League when we go a goal down, we never really fall apart, which is nice as well. Yes, we probably did against Arsenal, but Gabriel Jesus was just on another level, and then he got injured again the second he finished scoring against us.
Yeah.
So.
And we were missing Mignon, and we had, and we were playing an 18-year-old in that game as well.
Yeah.
Right
I mean, to be fair, Dan, Klein was worse than Kapora.
Oh yeah, he was. Oh yeah,
Klein was way worse. But yeah, I don't think we've lost our head really this season, and I don't think that this is going to be the game to do it either. Yes, it's probably a much bigger game for the fans than it is the players. But, anything can happen, but I'm very confident that it's going to be a 2-0 win. Very solid performance from us.
Yeah, I think it's just going to be one of those. I think it's just going to be a sensible performance. And yeah, hopefully we come out 2-0, no injuries, and then we're into the quarterfinals. So the final 8 teams. But we will see. Currently we're one of the last 16. So.
I mean, if you look at it, I think that most of the top teams are out, aren't they? I think Liverpool's out.
Yeah, let's
Arsenal.
have a look.
I think right now, obviously, don't want to get too excited for looking ahead of this game because we could very well lose it, and then we'd just be sitting here looking like morons. But I think City are out. I think Arsenal are out. I think Liverpool are out.
Yeah, they are. Oh yeah, of course. Yeah, because I remember talking about it on the Doncaster one.
City is still in it. I mean.
Yes, they are.
Because
they are playing Plymouth. So. Oh
yeah. Plymouth beating the best teams in the country.
The fixtures. So you got Villa, Cardiff, Preston, Burnley. So whoever goes through, they're going to get. There's going to be a championship type team still in it in the quarterfinal. So.
I think there'll be 2 championship teams. I think Preston have got a chance to stay in it as well.
Yes, Preston, Burnley. So one of those will go through. The only other championship team is Plymouth. Obviously, Plymouth and Cardiff. But they'll have to beat Villa and City, respectively.
City are going down.
You know what? I actually wouldn't bet against it, to be honest.
I'm watching. If that game's the early kickoff of the day, I'm watching in the pub.
It's a late kickoff. We're obviously the early kickoff of the Saturday. Preston and Burnley kick off at the same time.
I could watch it while I edit fan cams.
And then Bournemouth Wolves is at 3:00, and then the City Plymouth game's a late kickoff on that Saturday. Yeah, I've got the day off work as well, so that'll be.
Hey. Yeah, very busy week this week. I think we've got, obviously, today's TACT-EAGLE. Tomorrow will be fan cams and player ratings. Thursday will be a preview for Millwall. Friday, I think we're linking up for Nicky's birthday drinks. I don't know if you're there, mate.
Yeah, I'll be coming to that.
And then, obviously, Saturday, fan cams and that. And Sunday will be a review of the Millwall game. And then we're back to normal service again next week.
Jeez.
Don't get too blasted on Friday. That's what it means.
No, I definitely won't. Right. Thank you all, guys, for watching. Earth is saying get some Eagle Eye Burger merch, and Dog is saying he'll buy some merch. I think we should do a Malcolm Abue one just for you. Both Manchester clubs are still in it, and City will be a different side. We face in a 2-2. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in as always. I know it's obviously on a Monday today, busy week, but next week we'll be back on Tuesday. And yeah, thank you all for watching, and I hope you enjoyed it. We'll see you all soon. And the only thing to say really now is up the Palace.